Alright, hello everyone, my name is Disc. This video is a little bit of a repeat, but I timed a seat on level 20 last night, which is fair game for the channel regardless if I used one last week or not. But this was, for once, almost a full group. We're in Discord coordinating, and I think we tried it maybe 4 times before we timed it. And we were seeing the last boss pretty consistently, which was a good sign. The Death Knight's a pug, but he's like 4100 or something like that, so he's getting all the PIs. This is a great example of watching Dominate Mind and Shackle on boss 1. But to coordinate here, we always kind of determine ahead of time which one is our kill target. We've picked right. I like having a 10 stack of palm going into any dungeon, dot, penance, dot. And we're going for a triple, I forgot. Okay. So, preceding that first major chain overlap, I like to just get my Mind Blast cast and have the big penance ready. It might be worth watching again. I was kind of like lost watching it myself. But you preemptively wall. It's a great place to use your wall. And use Fade on top of at least a 2 stack. And then we can use uppies for the second round. But that was a really good example of a triple subj. So check it out. But we get one more example here. Fade as a reaction. Watching for the heal absorbs. We can see him coming on the DK here. Ellesmere's raid frames has targeted casts. Is great. I am sharing that on my Metafy. So our wall again. We have additional mechanics popping off. Almost had a death there by the grace of God. But we don't really need too many spells at all on boss. So I look at these first pulls as a full spell dump. Like I probably could have even used Evangelism if it was up. I've not used a single paints up yet. Here's my meld. Goes without saying, Oracle, got a meld for mana. We were talking about it in Discord. What would a priest do if we didn't have meld right now? It's just, is that, like, I would call that a design flaw. I mean, I'm certainly no game designer, but that can't be what you want. Okay, got PI right on start here. Trying to stay close to not interrupt the DPS. And I'm probably going to stagger into paints up on the tank here. Yep. So, really important to track active defensives, especially for tanks. You want more coverage. Okay, I like to shackle first to keep it far away. The Dominate Mind is more free. And I also give it a green saying it's good, please eat it. And to kind of draw attention to it. So, tracking 2 attacks with Bigwigs, it's the Oozing Slam and the Crashing Void. We pretty much get 1 Mind Blast per attack. And that's how I like to play it. Play the Mind Blast preceding the attack. Fade on top of them, goes without saying. And after the attack, unload the penance. That's your major heal. Alright, so I played Radiance into Evangelism, getting all the procs, banking into Mastery, getting double the heals. And also, if you're interested in using focus targeting as a Disc Priest, or in general, maybe rewatch this fight back. So when I target the adds, I fall back to the boss because he's my focus. I think it's a really nice way to manage your targeting. And it's just like one extra keybind. It's really important for like keeping dots active with penance. Really good for finding executes. Okay, I play Mind Blast, then my uppies. I like to do that just to get the cooldown rolling of the Mind Blast, being it's like the kind of longer one. Definitely keeping an eye on my shackle, have to refresh it. Another Mind Blast here at the end, just trying to be a DPS priest and get this boss down. Okay, so that was a really good opener for our 20. We have 0 deaths. Some close calls, but we played it exactly like we needed to. Good plays on boss 1 with our utility. And probably definitely at least rewatch that triple subjugator. Playing walls, playing Mind Blast preemptively. Okay, also between combat, keeping palms stacked. You can also play a Radiance out of combat just to start having procs roll. But I love an AUG here. We have Cauterize. So pretty much for the next 20 minutes of this key, we have Rift Stalkers. They're the ones that do the bleeds. You know, I was picked. Desperate Prayer also paints up. I'm sitting in the chamber. So this wasn't a good pull for what I was trying to say. So we have Rift Stalkers. They're the most threatening. They need to be focused. I was not on a stalker, so sue me. This pull has no stalkers. And I'm not sure I played my heals too well on that last Rift Warden, so let's watch this one. But the Rift Warden does pretty nasty chunks of ticking damage, and you just want to weave your spells in between them. So it's kind of like playing smartly. Keeping dot spread. This time I'm on the Rift Walker. Dispelling quick is important. Radiance on the in-between. 2 Shadowmen's health potion. Paying close attention to anyone who gets bled. Fading amply. Looks like I have both my personals. Yeah, I just dance between, so I might play like my Mind Blast anticipating a tick, unload my penance after the tick. Or anticipating a tick, I might precast a Radiance. So you really just want to avoid overhealing there the best you can, and then it's not too bad. And another subtlety, I think this goes without saying, but you can highlight it pretty clearly with Ellesmere's. If I cast a Void Shield, you know, it hits 3 people, obviously. I try and notice who wasn't hit, and then I can reach for them to give them some love. Okay. That was a Radiance into Evangelism. The group needed the heals. Looking for these heal absorbs. And I've gotten better at it now that I've run this place a lot. Honestly wasn't even expecting to time this key, but I was invited to a group with a pal and went for it. But what I was trying to say is, let's watch this heal absorb that goes out and how I handle. I try to precast on top of it when I can. I think that was a precast. You'd have to check me again. But you can see it coming, targeted casts, and you can precast your Shadowmend on top of it. But you really want to use Shadowmends for it. You need procs. This is one area where feeling so dependent on procs is not great, and that's why they're making some changes in Season 2. But here's a meld. Very, very important you nail these. Pretty much, if you miss a meld, you're jeopardizing timing the key. Okay. Dot penance. Like putting a penance on cooldown early. PI's out. Quick Dispel on the first magic. And then I use my Purify's cooldown to kind of like help me estimate when the large ticking damage will come in. But this is an uppies round. Filling in the gaps between my void shields. So it was a very delayed uppies, but I would say especially in these higher keys, that's kind of how you have to play it. I think a lot of people want this oh shit button, as they call it. Is that how WoW's played? I don't think anyone has that. Like, even though it's a strong 4-minute cooldown, you have to know how to play it, like, I guess optimally. And roundabout way of what I'm saying is, even though it's an uppies round, you have to do some manual healing too. So I open with, my Mind Blasts, Penance, make sure my dots are spread, make sure atonements are out. I uppies, and like always aim to squeeze in a death on the way up, for example. So, talked about it before, you probably know it, but uppies, you want to play a spell as you fly up and as you drop down. You have to squeeze them in. Okay, so also I'm noticing as Oracle, especially when I have a little mana to give, in between attacks, so like this guy, we basically only have one attack every 20 seconds. On that in between, you're pretty safe to cast an extra dot if you feel like you need to. So depending on the pull, I might spend 1 or 2 globals tossing extra dots out, being that we are so reliant on our Shadowman procs right now. I think of it as like, prepping for the damage. Yeah. Okay, PI. Oh, I remember this. Wow. Okay. I hope anyone who's still watching this video rewatched that. I actually looked away when it happened. I can't wait to watch it back. But our tank got hit by the tentacle and was getting punted straight into mobs. Gripped his ass back down. But then he ran back into the tentacle and used my second grip to save him again. That is one thing I do love about Oracle is double grip. Okay, this pull will have stalkers. Hefty pull, so I'm really going to try my best here to find him. There he is. So it's a deficit in my UI. I don't have names. I have to look at my target frame. Let's watch this. Close attention to bleeds. Quick dispels. And I'm probably going to use both personals here. Just use Fade. Leaving spells in between. Working Shadowman's. So we have been to this boss already tonight 3 or 4 times, and if I was not full mana, we died to attrition. So the call here is break combat, let me get a natural drink, and you can go ahead and engage. So even though this boss engages, it won't stand you up, so we're A-okay. But being that this is mana intensive, I'm not going to be casting too many dots here for the trash. And also before we get into the meat of this, so with Bigwigs, I'm tracking the Void Bomb and Overload. I don't think I'll ever run this dungeon again, but I think a better 2 spells to track is Overload and the Bleed. So there are tools to help you predict the bleed. I do it just kind of by feel. And in the spirit of, I guess, all the rest of this key, you have to hold your procs and spells for opportune times. So like, kind of anticipating a bleed, I'll have my finger hovered on Shadowmend. Or anticipating a bleed, I might hold a Void Shield proc. Or hold a Defensive Penance. Okay, I was picked. We have a small overlap here. Faded. Just got PI. Great caught. When I'm losing my dots here now that I notice. That's not good. So sadly, we're at 0 deaths right now. A little foreshadowing. I do die on this boss. It was an overlap, and I believe I had pain sups to give, or probably even like a health potion. So let's watch for my death, and let's see what I could have done to change it. But giving a lot of defensive penance here. Definitely using Mind Blast for the overload. Alright, so for this overload, yep, let my Mind Blast go, let some penance go, and I kind of like closed it out with the uppies. So I used my natural spells first, and then the big cooldown. I forget where my death is, so let's see. I might have held that caught if I was Korra, but that's all good. Okay, this is evangelism.
I simply wish you had lasted a little
Okay.
longer.
So there it was. So I was watching, and in my defense, I actually was running a defensive. I had my wall up, but it's funny in hindsight. I said I wished Korra had held that caught. I could have used it there. But to point the finger at myself too, I had 2 pain sups and a health potion. Just happened so quick. Not this one though, so I seen it coming. That was the quickest personal pain sup of my life. Just got PI, just sent PI. That was an amazing caught by Korra. Wow. And boss is almost down. Mana is not horrible. Okay. I need to get Ford out. There it is. Okay. I also think it was really fun being in a group last night with a team in Discord. I have not done that yet for this season, really. Okay, so we do have a stalker in this group. Uh-oh, I'm not on the stalker. It's a great void shield, hit all 3 people that were taking damage. Yeah, I'm on the wrong mob. Hope the rest of the team's on it. But these attacks, you can see them coming just with auras. I like playing a flash shield for my 10% damage reduction. Personal shields, obviously. Defensive penance. They don't really need pain sups unless you get a double. But I don't think we have any doubles in this run. Okay, next pull does have a stalker. Let's see if I target him. Boom. Okay, offensive penance to get my dots out. So we had some problems in Discord focusing the stalker because he jumps around. Still think it's the right call though, if you ask me. Okay, just got PI. And I remember Korra used the defensive last time. So I gave him a little extra love there. He wasn't able to pop anything. I have a void shield, looks like I might be slightly holding. Okay, uppies in 9. I think this is still a play even though the fight's ending. I guess I didn't use it. But we do want it on boss. I think I'd like to play it one more time here. Let's see. But at this level, we really have to use it for the heals, we can't just play it for uptime. But let's see, we're going right. I actually like that play a little bit better. It gives me time to breathe, a moment to breathe. But yeah, we want to pick a kill target here. We've picked the right guy. And we have targeted casts here. Beams that drain people's health. They can be lethal if you're not ready. But the nice advantage of targeted casts is you have a moment to get ready. So I seen it coming on Korra. He has his, what are those called? Obsidian scales? Or he has his wall running, so he didn't really need much. But they might take a defensive penance. They might take a mind blast with a defensive penance. Definitely a void shield if you have one. And he mitigated that. So I think if you watch that back by 5 seconds, he mitigated, I saw he mitigated, and like with a fraction, like I was hovering on him to give him the void shield. Was a hair away from casting it, but then I was picked, void shielded myself. Okay, we have blur running. A defensive penance. Might have been better to give him a shadow mend there. When I can, I like my penance to be offensive. And let my shadow mends be my healing. So I had 2 there to give, and I gave him a defensive penance. Like, it would have been ample heals for, like, a shadow mend and an offensive penance. He still gets those heals, you know? He's atoned. Oh well. Okay. Death Knight mitigated again. OP. And so I've had uppies this whole time. Mel drink, that's a macro. I've had uppies this whole time. I could have played it on the first group just for uptime, but I didn't. Milled boss. But what it means now is we have to hold for boss. So a little bit of a loss, but we time with 2 minutes. Okay, evangelism into... Sorry, radiance into evangelism. Defensive penance to get over the hump. Spike damage on open. Dot spread is going to be really important here. Uh-oh. I'm not really going for executes either. It's kind of like a rare thing. I just feel like it doesn't matter. Like, to give it, like, even a little brain power, don't matter. Okay, so let's see. The add phase, when the tentacles spawn, those are the most threatening. The 3 target cleave, not that big of a deal. You just have to be quick to react. But we're full mana, PIs and 2. I almost died with that orb spawn, which would have been really cringe. And I like not fading. Okay, I faded. Yeah, just look where those 3 are. Like, you could defensive penance one person, shadow mend the other, and then your wheel and woe shield on the 3rd, something like that. Let's see how I take this one. Okay. So I'm missing something big here, looking in hindsight. I had a lot of orbs to dodge, big rescues. But I missed PI all through that. Okay, let's see. We have uppies and evangelism. I play fade and uppies. Hovering on the low target for a shadow mend or whatever. We still have PI. So I would say that's a large mistake. It's just 1 spell, but at this level. Okay, but on this next add phase, you know what? I lived. I had all those balls coming at me in that phase, and I lived, so giving myself some credit. Okay, but we need PI out this time. It's out. And in this phase, let's see if I get my fade. Fade just came up. I would like to play it here. And I probably should be attacking the tentacles if I want to be better. But huge rescues. And this time must be an evangelism. I have Desperate Prayer and Fade. Radiance into evangelism. Flash heals, defensive penance. I play Desperate Prayer and Fade. And not a problem. But we still have an AMZ I'm sure we're going to use. And also, like last dungeon, if anyone watched it, when you're picked with the drain attack from the tentacles, you can meld it off. And that was something I failed to do last time and died from it. I think I get a meld this round. So as soon as you see you're picked, you can meld that shit off. Helps a lot. There it was. And something you have to think about in these keys is which of our targets are more vulnerable. And the answer is the Aug. So a lot of my Void Shields are going to the Aug, a lot of defensive penance to the Aug. Let's see, Fade and Paints Up myself. Defensive penance. 2 Shadowmans for the win. Not a problem. And I definitely like Void Shielding myself on these, not the tank. They're never going to get the 3 target cleave, so. Let's see, I'm picked. Fade. The Shadowmend, offensive penance, Void Shield. And we just got PI. So you can probably see now. I would have liked one more. But boss was almost dead. I think that's a fair place to spell dump, so I played Desperate Prayer just not to die. We'll have it back by the time we get to boss. So in this moment right here, there's 3 things that need to happen. I need to get full mana. Right now I have 0. I want to have a 2 stack on my Harsh Discipline from Radiance. And I want as many 10 stacks of Palm Out as possible. And I'm really just trying to give the whole group the best chance here. I don't think we have any deaths, but we had some close calls. We want to play Evangelism on top of the Discordant Beams. Ideally before it is my take. You want people full health when the beams go out. And then I'm looking for who, essentially who isn't in a defensive, who doesn't have one active. You can try and paint up that person, defensive penance that person, shield that person. But it's a real bitch when you're picked. And I almost lost the key for everyone on the last mechanic, and we have a really nice save to watch for. Okay, so we do have PI, but we need it for the burn phase. So this is just a hold. And let's watch how many defensive penance I take here. Flash healing. I also have a health potion. I'm picked. Desperate Prayer and Fade. Healing the people that are targeted, the 3 target cleave. More defensive penance. And Uppies is great to play on the beam phase, not on the dance phase. Learned that the hard way. So Mind Blast. Radiance, defensive penance. Great AMZ. Fade as liberally as you can through here. Now we've got to get these people up. Okay, so Uppies. That was a close call for Korra. So I think a better play. It was a little too close for comfort. Give him a defensive penance first, then the Uppies. Thankfully we got through it. But here's Burn. PI right on Burn. My Mind Blast was already cast. Letting that cooldown reset to get 2 big penance in this window. And here comes my next Mind Blast. I pair it with a Radiance for the extra bolts. Oh, I held it. Okay, I was playing conservative. But we get massive shields in that phase. So the best you can, load up Void Shields. You can always cast a single shield for the Wheel and Woe. Okay, playing Fade liberally. Defensive penance into myself. And the beams are 10 seconds away with Evangelism in the chamber. This is a great place to play it to keep people topped when it matters. And thankfully, the beams are working out for me. Okay, I got real scared. Desperate Prayer and Paints Up. Defensive Penance. Thankfully, we all had personals. Grip the Aug to safety. In hindsight, it would have been better if I gripped the Demon Hunter. He wasn't able to attack. Okay, I think this is where I almost make a mistake and miss a note. It would have been game over. Okay, so I'm trying to keep everybody up, and I notice I don't have one. Woo, I zip across, and praise God, no one died. I got the note, and I think this burn phase is to kill. So let's see.
5, 4,
I really just want to play DPS Priest here. So Mind Blast, Radiance, Penance. And just literally spam Smite as much as I can. Loading up Void Shields. Because there is a Siphon Void. It's a big boom.
4, 3,
Held Death for sub 20. And we're covered. Okay, so boss is pretty much over. Fair place to spell dump. Just got PI. Gave myself a mana potion, which is pretty rare. Fade.
dance.
Evangelism. So anticipating the beam, I like to play Evangelism early. Just to make sure everyone's topped when it matters. I'm getting really lucky to have beams on my side. Okay, so Desperate Prayer. Ooh, Paints Up. Okay, so that was unfortunate, but we have 2.5 minutes left. There's almost no way we can lose this. I'm going to watch that back myself to see what exactly happened. I think it was just rot, but was he not even picked? If he wasn't picked, that's not good. Okay, but let's see, I am slap out of mana now. Just got to pray. Uh-oh. I think this is where we're calling we might have deaths. We might have deaths, but it's okay. We didn't. We had personals running. Everything was great. 2% on boss.
5, 4,
Pre-Radiance, pre-Mind Blast. Couldn't even get it all.
How did a beam of the light?
Cool. Well, that was plus 20 seat. Never thought I'd get it. Let's see. Better Blizz plates for nameplates. I'm using Ellesmere's for party frames. X-Boss for trash timers on nameplate, invaluable. And my action bars are just action bars. What else? Yeah, I guess that's about it. Targeted casts are major. If you're interested in any WoW coaching, I do that on Medify. Check me out over there. Links in the description. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I still have the 1% title right now, which is kind of unexpected. I'm trying to hold on to it. But yeah, until next time, Disc out.